Welcome everyone to BILSA Podcast Series. I'm your host, Erkan.
And I'm Rosa. We're your hosts for today's episode.
In this episode, we will be talking about how to become a diplomat and state lawyer.
And for today's episode, we have a very special guest speaker.
Our guest speaker for today is from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ibu Sahadatun Donatirin.
Yay!
Hello, everyone. Hello, Rosa. Hello, Erkan. Everyone's listening. Hi.
Okay, for Bu Donna, could you please introduce yourself, including your current job and position?
Yes. Okay, Rosa, let me start. Well, my name is Sahadatun Donati. You all can call me Donna. Currently, I'm a secretary, a kind of a deputy for the Director General for Law and International Treaties of the Ministry of the Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia. I've been holding this position since, I think, 2 years now. Yeah, been. Thank you.
Wow, that's great. If I may, could you explain a little bit about your position? What do you do in your position?
Well, yes, of course, Erkan. Other than taking care of administrative and technical stuff, of course, as a secretary of the Director General, well, in terms of substance, being a deputy, kind of deputy for the Director General, I have to also basically not master, right? But knows every single bit of each and every substance, each and every matters that is taken care by our Directorate General. Namely, we have like a four division in the Directorate General. It's the director for the territorial and environment treaties, something like that, and then economic and trade and investment treaties, and the other is social and cultural treaties, and the last is security and defense treaties. So basically, knowledge about a bit of each and every matters that is taken care by the Directorate General is a must for me. Thank you.
It's very
That is
interesting.
very interesting. So, I was very curious. As a diplomat, of course, you travel around the world, right? I'm curious, like, what countries have you been posted throughout your career?
Well, I've been in this institution since 1998. Okay, so almost 30 years now. And during those terms, I've been posted. My first post was in our consulate general in New York. Okay, it was by then 2001 to 2000, no, no, 2002 to 2006, something. And then my second one is in our embassy in Mexico City. It was in 2009 to 2013. And my last post before this position is for our permanent representative office in the United Nations in New York. I'm returning in 2020. That's all. Always in the other side of the world from
Wow,
here. Okay. Yeah.
that's lovely. You must be rich in experience, Budona. Yeah. If I may ask, what is your best adventure throughout your career? What do you think is your
Well,
best?
actually, yes, thank you, Erkan. Well, actually, among other things, I love culture. I love like a traditional culture. So I would be very enlightened if I was posted in the countries which has a rich culture as Indonesia. Okay. Well, in the US, it's a melting pot of every culture. So basically, you can find every culture there. So it's
Right.
interesting. And in Mexico, they have a very rich traditional culture, like what we have in Indonesia. And also they have the similar family values and something like that. So yes, the best adventure that it is not about the political for economic thing, but it's amazingly the culture of
Yes,
each countries in the world. Yeah. Thank
of course,
you.
of course.
Sure. That sounds very, very exciting and interesting. So, if we may know, what is your education background to get to your position right now?
Well, yeah. Been working in the Director General for Law in the International Treaties. Of course, I held the bachelor degree in law, major in international law. And then my master program is in international relation, both from a domestic university. I never been learn have an opportunity to learn abroad, but yeah.
That's all right. Considering where you are right now, I think you're a very successful diplomat. Uh, Obviously, behind all of that success and all of those facts, I'm curious because there must be a hidden secret behind it all. What is your morning routine to make your day and to get to where you are today?
Okay, to get to my seat at the office like every single day. Oh, and of course, I wake up very early in the morning. Erkan, well, I have to do that. I have three children that I have to take care of. So
Wow.
wake up, morning prayers, and then cook, and
Wow.
prepare for their school and everything. And then sometime we go together. They go into school, and I continue my journey to the office. If I miss something of that routine, let's say that I have to travel somewhere, right, for maybe a week or so for my job, then I feel like something is missing, but it's my children get to use with that because that's the consequences of my position. That's the consequences of my job.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, through all of that, I'm sure you have like someone who is very inspiring for you. And who do you think was your biggest influence in your life?
Well, I always look up at my parents in a way that they let their children to flourish. They let their children to grow up the way that their children wanted to. Okay, well, of course, uh, entering the faculty of law is not my first choice by them. Okay, but then even so, they try to make me understand. Okay, look, there are options that you can take for your future. If you take this, then this is the consequences. You take that, and this is the consequences. But the freedom that my parents gave me to really and the freedom that my parents gave to their children is really makes us, especially me, what I'm becoming right now.
Wow. That's we get to know you a little bit better now, Budona.
Oh, thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
So
because Erkan, if I may add, it's not easy. Like, I mean, to becoming a woman diplomat. I mean,
yes,
because
definitely.
you are the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the one who is always moving around, and maybe you have to take your husband with you, and maybe
Yes.
you have to take like your household
Yeah.
basically with you, and you're in front of everything. So yeah, it's not what do you call it, it's not an easy choice, if you may, but it's definitely an interesting one. Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
one of the most important elements, and that is a supportive family, obviously. And I think
Of course.
with that power, you've gone to strive to where you've become today. I think that's a very
Thank you.
great thing that's happened. Yes.
That was it.
So that's very great hearing about your background and everything, Budona. Now I'd like to answer the questions if I may. So first topic, what we were gonna discuss is actually about how to become a diplomat. So
Does anyone want to become a diplomat in this room?
hopefully, I would like to follow Budona's footsteps to becoming a diplomat,
Oh, great.
especially
Okay.
as a law student myself. Uh, I might have a career path similar, maybe. I might not be as good as
wish
you,
you all
but
the best.
we will see.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. If I may ask for the first question, when did you decide you wanted to become a diplomat?
Yeah, well, thank you, Erkan. Well, actually, it's not a diplomat per se at the beginning. Like when I look at our ministers of foreign affairs, our past minister of foreign affairs, most of them are lawyers. Like you name it, Pak Mohtar Kusuma Atmaja, Pak Ali Alata, Pak Hasan Wirayuda, right? I mean, by then I was in the faculty of law, and then I think, and this segment and this aspect of law has not been really touched or dwelt by our youth. Well, by then, I think, including now. I mean, the international law is always the smallest number of students participated in the class, right? I mean, they all want to become to work in the law firm. They want to learn about the trade law, investment law, everything. But international law, like the law of the sea, humanitarian law, I mean, less and less people have been uh, joining the class at my time, especially. I hope now it's getting more and more. But then I realized, oh wow, I mean, so to become a good diplomat, an outstanding diplomat, like them, combining with the subject that I was learning by then in the Faculty of Law, then maybe become a woman diplomat is a great choice, right? And also we have more and more women diplomats nowadays. Not everyone's coming from the law background. Most of the diplomat is still coming from the international relations faculty of political science, right? Major in international relation. But we need more and more international law background diplomat.
I
That's
see.
Mhm.
Okay, so how did you get like started your career? You need like to
Yes. Yeah, well, Rosa, I never worked in other institution. I mean, after the graduation, I applied to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and they embraced me. So, okay, just follow the path. Okay, so it was in 1990. I was graduated in 1997, my bachelor degree, and then in 1998, I got accepted here, and then it's roll up to now. That's it. Of course, it's triggered by my amusement to the names that I mentioned before, right? Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Wow. What do you think are the qualifications to become a diplomat?
Yeah, well, Erkan, first, to answer the question, that you guys have to really understand first what we are doing,
Yes.
right? Okay, so based on the Vienna Convention on the Diplomatic Relation of 1961, now I'm lecturing you guys
All
now.
right. Of course.
Yeah. Okay. There are 5 functions of diplomat. First, it's representing. Okay. So you have to represent your country. Uh, kind of right or wrong is my country kind of approach, something like that. That you have to be able to be the face of your country wherever you are. So this is not easy. This is of course hard. I mean, when you represent your country, well, of course you have to take care of your manner, you have to behave, you have to, well, those kind of thing, and then whatever you said, it's what your country said, it's what your country's words. So you have to be very careful with everything that you said, especially in the public spaces, right, or in the formal setting. First, representing. And the second thing that we do is negotiating. But of course, we have to be able to negotiate on behalf of our country on whatever given to us. Well, basically, you negotiate everything. You negotiate the price, you negotiate the trade, you negotiate the treaties. most of the time, right? And then, of course, this negotiation is you have to have the most advantage situation or position that your country can get. This is the essence of negotiating without even make your opponents feeling down or distressed or angry, something like that. So the ability to really match the interest of your country and the interest of our partners, I must say. Sometimes it's more than one partners. Sometimes in the UN it's 100 and another 192 countries other than Indonesia. That's the ability that you have to have as a diplomat, negotiating. And then the third is protecting. Well, of course, it's protect our citizen. This is not also an easy task. Sometimes we are posted in a dangerous regions. Sometimes the region is the other day it is like a paradise, and the next day the war explodes. You know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, so the protection of our citizen, which is scattered all over the world, it is also the main task of every diplomat of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs right now. So the minister is really look into this protection aspect of the function of the diplomats, of Indonesian diplomats. The next function is promoting. Of course, you have to be able to promote your culture, your trade. Now
Yes.
I kind of smiling.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, the culture, the trade, the opportunities that our country have to the world, right? Of course, we promote the good things and try to manage or to handle when we have bad things and domestically. Then how can we still promote that there is at least a development, at least there is an advancement, at least we try to be better. That's what we are trying to promote. And then the next function is to reporting. Of course, after all of this, representing, protecting, promoting, then you have to report, you have to be able to report it in a way that is understandable and digestible by the constituent in your country. All right, because your report will be used to generate another foreign policy, right? And then to project what is our interest to other country, what is our interest to other region, something like that. So a good you have to be able to make a good report. And of course, there's an additional task, a burden in our shoulder, which is managing. Well, managing the office, of course, when you are posted abroad. So if you're asking me, what is the qualification of becoming a diplomat, then you have to be able to do all those six function. Of course, it's learning by doing. You're getting better by practice, like every other jobs. But that's basically what we have to do, and the qualification is whatever that support those function. Your ability to perform those function will be worth to learn. Yeah.
That's very
Wow.
knowledgeable. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for your lecture.
Yes,
Bit.
that is very
Okay.
so through all of that, like what advice would you give to Indonesian students, especially law students, since we are law students that wants to become a state lawyer?
Yes, Rosa, as I said, right? We need more and more international lawyer. I mean, not international, I mean, the lawyers that can work with the international development of international law. I say nowadays, even let's say we talk about the law of the sea, the aspect of the law that we think it is a very permanent, it's very dormant, it's an old concept and everything. But look around us, right? Yesterday we just heard about the Pulau Pasir. Yeah, Ashmore Reef. Okay, and that's about it. I mean, and then maybe a couple of years ago, maybe you guys heard about foreign vessels being entering to our territorial water, and then we did something to them. Yeah, we take action to them. This is this, and then maybe some years ago, there are also discussion. I mean, until now, maybe about the dual citizenship for our citizen, and then the private international law, the mixed marriage, the interaction between us and foreigners that resulted in legal matters. I might say something like that. The trade, the international trade, the protection of Indonesian migrant workers, the defense cooperation, the selling of like arms and weapons, something like that. So this I would say this subject of laws is a really in need, direly. I mean, looking at the graduates, yeah, Faculty of Law graduates that apply to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It is not easy for my Director General, especially the one who is dealing with the law and international treaties, to recruit ones who has this kind of background. We still need more and more people, especially when you are talking about the state lawyers. Okay, what I mean with the state lawyer here is a lawyer that defend the position of Indonesia or of their own countries, right, or their own government in the international sphere, in the international court. If you guys remember, like maybe sometimes ago we have a case of Sipadan and Ligitan Islands, right? The one that we had with Malaysia by then. It's a very famous one, famous case, right? And then now we are also dealing with to defend our palm oil with a positive narrative about it. I mean, in the WTO and everywhere else. We need young, not always young, yeah, but talented, understand the case deeply to really speak on our behalf, to really become a representative to represent Indonesia in the international court, let's say, in the international arbitral award, something like that. We need more of this. So I really encourage you guys, if you want to become a state lawyer, it doesn't have to be from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, yeah, but the one that defend Indonesia in the international court or arbitral, let's say, court somewhere else, then this kind of person we really need more and more, Erkan and Rosa, in the future. I really encourage you not only to have a mindset to work in the law firm and defend like big companies, big private companies, but you can also consider to defend your country or your government, right? Because we have a lot of cases that needs your contribution as a youth more and more in the future. I believe so. Thank you.
I feel like that's a big responsibility on our shoulders.
Of course.
But it's also a very big gratitude to defend your own country. Wow.
Yeah.
So now that I see this, there's actually a big connection between a diplomat and the law life in the whole world, especially international law. Like many people, as a diplomat, many people who want to become a diplomat focus on the international relations, but sometimes they tend to forget about international law as well. I think that's a very important aspect in becoming a diplomat as well. So, if I may ask, how do you enter the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, especially like Kemlu in Indonesia?
Yes, Erkan, um, advice, yeah.
Accepted very well.
Okay. Yeah. Um, don't be afraid to work for the government. That's the first, right? Of course, right?
All right.
Yeah. Well, Rosa, well, I cannot put it uh, better, but up to now, I still see most of the law students graduates goes to a private law firm. Yeah, right. Even in my batch, by then, I think it's only like from 100 something, it's only like three working in the government, and then three working for the government, and then only one enrolling for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is me. And here I am
Wow.
now.
Wow.
So, first advice, well, of course, don't be afraid to become a what do you call it, civil servant. Yeah, Erkan. It's an interesting and a great job also. Well, even though you're not talking about millions that you can collect, maybe, but sometimes you have to ask, what can you do to your country? Yeah, after you think about what can you do to yourself or your family. So uh, that's first. I mean, to be if you want to join my corps, gitu ya. Well, you have to be first. You don't be afraid of becoming a civil servant. And then the second, also the graduates of the Faculty of Law in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is not only needed by my Directorate General. It's not only needed to take care of the issue of law and international treaties. There is also a bureau taking care of the or producing the laws related to international and foreign policy. Let's say there is also a Directorate General taking care of a protocol and consular affair, which is the one that I said, taking care of the protection of our Indonesian citizens. It also need lawyers. It also need a state lawyers. And then there is also a Directorate General which is taking care of the multilateral matters, like the UN matters. You know that the UN, United Nations, or international organizations such as WTO, they also produce international legal instruments like conventions, treaties, right? So these Director General also in dire need of lawyers. So there in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs only, we need more lawyers in the
Yes.
futures. Yeah. So don't be afraid to join us. Welcome on board. Okay. It's not that bad. Thank you.
Of course, of course, of course.
Yeah.
If I may ask, I'm actually very curious. So, considering you're a law student and we're also law students, I was wondering if the career path would be different if we were in law compared to another major. If we were to enter the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, would we have a specific career path considering our major? Like, for example, maybe we would get posted into specific countries or something like that as a diplomat.
Okay. Well, as someone who has a law background, you will always be in front if there are cases, if there are law cases or cases related to our citizen, our national, like a BUMN, yeah, our private government, private companies, things like that. So and also in managing the office, there are so many things that relates to law. Let's say labor law, okay, the law of government procurement, something like that. So the law of managing the financial matters. Of course, you cannot just spend money. There are rules, okay, applied for those kind of things. So having a law background, you will always be a specialist. I think,
Yes.
yeah, instead of a generalist, especially when you are in my Directorate General for Law and International Treaties, that you can be considered a specialist. Let's say, oh, if we negotiating a trade treaty, I mean, maybe we can ask Erkan because he is an expert in international trade law, something like that. And someone is dealing with the investment treaties, someone is dealing with the environment treaty, someone is understanding the UN FCCC, let's say, someone is understanding the convention of biodiversity, someone understanding about the law of the sea, those kind of things. So you will always be a specialist, and it will always in need, I mean, in this institution. So yeah, that makes you different from
Wow.
other graduates
Wow. I
because
feel
you're a
special.
lawyer.
Yeah. That,
Yeah,
that
of
makes
course.
us feel special. That's
Yeah.
very insightful of the diplomatic questions. Now I'd like to actually continue with the other questions regarding how to become a state lawyer. If Rosa may ask the questions.
I'm sorry, I've asked you about how what advice would you give, but I haven't asked you what a state lawyer is and how to become a state lawyer.
Yeah. Okay, Rosa. Yeah. Sorry to miss that. But as I mentioned, I think I mentioned here and there that a state lawyer here is someone who's working with the government, like myself, and then that he or she is lawyer, of course. Okay, and their job is to defend the position of the country in not against, well, in the case, in the legal cases, in whatever legal cases that that the country might have, I would say, the country or the citizen of the country might have. That's that's basically the easy understanding of the state lawyer. Yeah. Well, maybe you can work in the law firm, in a private law firm, and working to defend the country also, or the citizen also. Like we hire a private lawyer to defend our citizen or to defend Indonesia in the court. But of course, it is more, how do you call it? You can feel it more if you are being in this institution or being in the government, and then you defend your own government in a legal manner or in the legal cases in the court. Let's say in the ICJ, the one that defend us in the ICJ, there are lawyers. There are even foreign lawyers that defend Indonesia in ICJs. Why don't we have our own, from our own breed, right? From our own citizen, from our own youth, from our own lawyers to defend our own countries. This is Rosa. This is what we need more and more in the future. Okay.
Thank you
Yeah.
for your understanding.
All
Because
right.
Miss, again,
All
when
right.
you got the name state lawyer, I thought it was a lawyer who practiced in state United States. So
Oh, no. That would be great also. We get that opportunity.
yeah,
That would be a United States lawyer. That
yeah.
is a state lawyer. It's a lawyer in Indonesia. It's lawyer negara, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Based on my knowledge, state lawyers are actually quite a big career in America as well. Like each 50 states, everybody has their own states and specific lawyers for that specific state, you know. So we were thinking it would be like that. It turns out it's a very complex thing in Indonesia as well, being a state lawyer, because at the end of the day, it's also defending your whole country now. Because
Yeah,
yes,
the position, the interest.
yes.
Yeah.
As before, I asked the qualifications to become a diplomat. Are there any qualifications to become a state lawyer, do you think?
Never stop learning. There are so many, even though not many Indonesian students is interested in international law, there are so many development out there. Yeah, there's so many development out there with regard to the international law, especially their application. It's varies. It's what do you call it? It's a lot of nitty gritty little things, but uh I really encourage you to never stop having passion towards international law. Please, because uh, having more and more intense international relation, then you cannot avoid that you will be collided with other legal system, with the foreign legal system. Then your ability to really what do you call it, to really manage, yeah, your way uh, among these different legal systems is very important in the future. This is what I see. So everything is about law. Everything is about international law. I mean, okay, someone else is talking about domestic law. It's their job, right? But when you talk about the international law, then you can deal with foreign legal system, with other legal system, with legal system from other countries. And this is interesting. Trust me.
Sounds interesting. Yes, definitely. All right. I think that was a very insightful knowledge from the diplomatic and state lawyer questions. From all of that knowledge, I want to conclude, if I may, based on this discussion. Considering we have an experienced diplomat like you, Budona, uh, what's the best thing? What's the best thing someone could have on their resume if applying to work for you?
For me,
Yes, for
for
you
me or for my
specifically.
institution? Oh, okay. For my institution, maybe you mean. Uh, I want to see the resume that the person has this everlasting passion to learn, to grow, okay, to make to make networks, and then to hold on a second, and then to really embrace the difference that might encounter along the way. That's important. I actually don't like to see that someone said that, oh, I can work in team, I have a good ability in this and that. But if those ability cannot be applied and cannot give benefit to the organization, it's useless. It's only good for you. So the passion to really make the organization grows, the passion to really make a good working environment with your colleagues, that's what I really want to see the resume. Because you don't have to be smart, you don't have to be the most, what do you call it, the orang paling pinter in the room,
The
yeah, the
brightest.
smartest
Yeah.
guy or girl in the room. You don't have to be, but the most important thing is you are able to work with everyone. Okay, whether it's a difficult person, an easy person, a boss,
Wow.
apa, cleaning service, security, everyone.
Yes.
That will make that what I need most. Other than smart, there are a lot of smart person, but less and less smart attitude. I see in the institution.
That's very deep.
That's yeah.
That's very deep.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So I looked up to you as a woman, career woman, and also a mom, and so there must have been major important lessons you have learned. So if you have any, could you please share it to us?
Okay. it's all about the balance, Rosa. Work hard, play hard, those kind of things. Okay, uh, but you have to know your limit. I think, yeah. I mean, listen to your body.
Mhm.
That's the most important thing, which we most of the time we forgot. We only listen to our body when when we were already in the hospital, laying down in the hospital bed, and then oh yeah, I'm sick, I'm tired, something like that. But before that, so I really ask you, every one of you, to really balance between work life. Well, you're not working now, so between your study and life. Okay, that's what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is working also right now, work-life balance kind of concept. And then, well, yeah, just listen to your body. When you think that you have to stop, when it is too much, just stop. Okay. I just say this, being in my position, I don't have much freedom to really put away my cell phone and then go to sleep, something like that. But that's that's important. That's advice. It's not easy to do, but I see it along the way that people, because no one is indispensable. No one is indispensable.
Wow.
If you are out, yeah, if you are gone, the next day someone will replace you right away. Or maybe there are five other people's waiting to replace your seat, your post, right? So it's all useless if you're not healthy, if you're not have your welfare. So
Mm,
yeah, make that balance. That's
wow.
Rosa.
That's insightful. Unfortunately, Rosa kind of disconnected, but she's gonna try and come in again. But I just wanted to
Okay, no, no.
ask, yeah, I wanted to ask the last question actually for this discussion. Uh, the question I wanted to ask is actually, it's a funny question because if there's any questions you wish I had asked you, what would it be? And if so, what would your answer have been as well?
Yeah, well, actually, you have a lot of questions already, and
Um,
I don't think of any other question which is not popped up in my mind. But maybe the question like, are you happy with what you have right now, with what you are right now?
oh, okay. That's a personal question.
Right?
That's a personal
Yeah, those
question.
kind of things.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and well, so. Uh, I just want to say that I'm happy that you're not asking.
Oh,
But since you
wow.
are, since you, is there any question you wish that I ask you? That it's the question: are you happy with what you have right now? Are you happy with your position right now? Yeah, but that's the question.
Wow.
But the answer is yes. Happiness is apa namanya itu Erkan? Happiness is subjective.
That's
I'll
very
say, yeah.
subjective.
It's very personal. It's very subjective. So for me, if you ask that question, and as long as you can accept whatever you have right now, whatever happened to you, good and bad, and accept it as, oh well, this is my way. This is the thing that the God give me. This is the thing that I have to endure right now, and hopefully it brings something good at the end. Then it's happiness.
Wow.
I mean, the willingness, the ability to really embrace, to really accept everything in life. Yeah, this is my way.
Wow. As long as you're grateful,
Yes.
everything will hopefully fall into place. Uh,
Yeah,
I think
that kind of way.
that's a very good moral to this lesson in life as well. Uh, I
Because
would
we
like,
never
yeah,
feel enough. We never feel
of
enough, right?
course,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's not good.
yes. And of course, you have a lot of years to go to your career as well. So you never know what's gonna come, but hopefully you have the best. Well, yeah, as a
Wait,
diplomat.
I cannot hear you. Okay, I think you're
Oh,
muted.
you can't hear me? I just mentioned how you have a lot of years left in your career as well. So as long as you have uh, your gratitude towards God, and hopefully everything falls into place. Yes, that's the best moral of life. Well,
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you very much, Budona. That was a very knowledgeable and insightful podcast. We both certainly learned a
Thank
lot
you.
today, and I hope
Thank
whoever
you.
is watching this as well will gain the knowledge that we received from Budona herself. A special thanks to Ibu Dona from Kamlu. Thank you very much for putting your time into this program. It was a pleasure having you here today in Binus Ilsa Podcast Series. Again, I'm your host Erkan, and my partner Rosa, who is unfortunately error right now, and she can't come in. Thank
Regards to her.
you for watching Bilsa Podcast, everyone. Erkan and Rosa, thank you very much. We are signing out. Thank you again, Budona.
Stay well. Bye everyone. Thank you. Bye. Take care, Kang.